Welcome to Show Me Repair. I'm Chris. I'm doing this a little different than I usually do, but I already had stuff filmed, didn't do an intro. But what we're doing here is we're checking over the trailer and then checking over the F-350, getting ready for a trip. We're going to go pick up another YouTuber's car to help him out with the problem he's having with it. So let's get everything checked over and hit the road. Well, this was my attempt at tying this one for this ramp slide to this one and this one. Basically, they didn't come with anything like that, and you can see this one's pushed in and bowed it, and this one worked for a while, but then it got mangled. This one down here has worked decent, but it came loose here. It's been a long time since I put those on, so maybe fix that. Other than that, the steel in here looks pretty darn good. I think I bought this trailer in 2018. I'd have to look at the VIN on it. I don't have broke my borescope, so I can't use it to check the brakes. Well, this may be like the second time I've been underneath this trailer, and everything's looking really good. Nothing's jumping out. I'm looking at the wheels and the wiring. Well, I've had the wheels on. This is like the third set of tires. This is what I was talking about, the shackle. Let's see if it... Oh, that light's gonna fight me. You can see that little space right there. And then we've also got it on this one as well. I think I'm gonna pull those bolts out and see. My fear is not that this is wearing. There's plenty of meat around that. But the bolt is working its way. Like if you look at this one, God, this camera. If you look at this one, there's quite a bit there. But underneath, there's not that much. My worry is the bolt is getting thin. Oh. That was easy. Before I go on this trip, I'm not going that far, but it'll be roughly 450 miles round trip. And I usually don't run that far. We're gonna just tighten this one up just a hair. Truthfully, we may get this off and then, or get this nut loose or this cotter pin and figure out that there's really not much adjustment. Sorry, my camera overheated somehow in an air-conditioned shop. 75, somewhere in there. It's pretty nice, but yeah, and it can't focus right. This Canon G7X drives me nuts. Okay, sorry I did not film the rest of checking the bearings on this wheel bearing. I tightened the nut basically spun it enough to line up the cotter pin for one more, and then there wasn't any play in it. So I don't want that, because then your bearings will overheat, and as they expand, it will damage the bearings. So you want a little bit of play in wheel bearings like this, serviceable ones. And so then I checked. I was gonna take this bolt off because you can see that space there, but I jacked up the axle a little bit here with a jack and got the weight off of it, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but I can see here, I couldn't get the bolt off, but I can spin the bolt here and tell that the bolt's not worn. This part of the shackle is becoming oblong, I believe. The weird thing is the weight of the trailer is going to go up on it, so you think it would wear more that way, but it's hard to say. Maybe from bouncing on the road it does that. So that's something I'm going to need to address down the road. So if you guys know anything, I'm sure there's companies that sell new shackles, but then again, how to make sure I get the right one, I don't know, maybe there's a measurement. Maybe I'll check. But in the comments, leave me a comment and let me know if you know something about that, and maybe a link to it. Okay, I jumped to like 3 different things there in a short clip because that's my ADHD. My brain's just always firing. But then again, sometimes in videos I've noticed that I talk real slow, so maybe I'm just messed up. Okay, got my F350 in the shop, and we're just gonna do a check over, basically an oil change. Actually, it does need an oil change, so we'll probably do an oil change. And I think we'll do an oil sample to start doing that. Just start on this one. Maybe we'll do an bypass oil filter kit on this as well. These are a lot easier to install and easier to get to, so we may do that. But this one needs oil change and fuel filters. I'm gonna check over before our trip, and let's get started. Well, I raised the truck up and to drain the oil, but I hadn't changed the filter yet. And on these trucks, there's around a half quart or so up in the oil filter housing, and it'll let it drain down in the pan when you do this. Make sure you do that. And then I'm up here, I might as well just, I'm changing the fuel filter too, I might as well take that loose. I can't remember if I ever did a fuel pressure regulator kit on this, the blue spring. I may check fuel pressure. I don't know if I have one of those sitting around. Fuel filter looks good. Not dirty, but I gotta get, check. I gotta get an oil sample. Check. Uh-oh. I'm an idiot. Okay, technically this isn't the way you're supposed to do this, but I forgot to get it. It's better than nothing at all, or that's better than taking it out of the drain pan, the way I look at it. The other reason too is you can, doing what I'm doing right now, I could use this rag for something else and could have gotten contaminants in it, and now I'm brushing it into the oil, but we'll just take our chances. I know the view isn't great, but I don't want to get my camera wet. I'm changing the lower fuel filter, but I'm going to drain the water separator first, and it takes a 6mm Allen, and I just put one on a little bit like this. It's nice and clean. A lot of times those get rust. I don't know if you guys can see it. A lot of times they can build up and get rust, and that's where it gets messy too. It starts running down the drive shaft. Okay, to those of you who are not familiar with what Ford calls the HFCM, Heated Fuel Conditioning Module. When they first came out, they had a little heater here. Ford would start having you disconnect it because it would cause, they'd short out internally and cause electrical problems, and they found out they didn't really need it. So the later versions did not have this, so that's what the H stands for, the heated. And this houses not only the fuel filter, but the lift pump that pulls fuel from the fuel tank and supplies it to the engine. This also has the water and fuel drain, and that's the 6mm Allen that I was talking about. And this is the cap that you remove to access the fuel filter. And you can see on this one, it's not all the way down. You can see the space up there. So you definitely, if you're doing one of these, you definitely want to make sure that cap is seated all the way down against the aluminum housing. That way that O-ring seals properly. To get the lower fuel, or the main or lower fuel filter out, you can see I'm way back here with a long extension and a wobble in my 36mm filter socket. And I go way back here, past the transfer case, to do this, because it's about impossible to get a ratchet up in there. And this is how I've done it for years. Not saying this is exactly easy either, but you can take them loose and avoid getting covered in fuel, or at least less fuel. This is fighting me all the way out. The lower one definitely needed to be replaced. Or, man, I was getting close. It's not that bad. No sediment up in the filter housing. The new O-ring on the cap. This thing's just dripping fuel everywhere. I like to put some grease on the O-ring. I think we've got enough. That fuel will help lubricate it too. I'm not going to put the new filter in the cap because then it'll be difficult to get up in there. I think I can do it, but there's other, well, let's try this. Let's see if I can. Can't remember. Yeah. For some reason, Ford decided to make this a real pain in the butt. Okay, I can go over top of the drive shaft. Put it in. Get it started by hand. That way it doesn't cross thread. Yes, I've seen them cross thread. And tighten it until the cap just flush with, or contacts the housing, and we're done. Okay, the type of oil I will be running in this will be AMSOIL's Signature Series. Yeah, 1540, and I don't have to run this, but I'm wondering if just this oil, it's what people say, you read stuff, you want to find out for yourself. I have that stiction issue starting cold on this. You don't really notice it in the summertime, oil's warm enough, but In the winter, you definitely notice it, and I want to see if that takes care of it. See if I can do this without spilling. It's at the max point, or max level, max. It's showing max on the dipstick. Okay, I am a weirdo, and you guys know that, and I don't care, or what's the word I'm looking for? I like oil change stickers. Let me explain myself. I don't like to write down anywhere, you know, in a book or something, keep track. It just, an oil change sticker just works. And I always write them for when they're due. So diesels, 5,000 miles. Gas engines, usually 5,000 miles nowadays. If it's really high mileage and you're kind of wondering, you're trying to limp it along, maybe 3,000 miles, even on a diesel. But I'm gonna add 5,000 to the 557 490, so that's going to be 562 490. I'm going to mark that one here at the end, oil. Then another oil change sticker I'm going to do for the fuel filters, that way I don't have to think about it. And I'm going to add 15,000. That's Ford's, if I remember correctly, severe duty's 10,000. I don't do severe duty, I don't believe. I'm not going through, you know, I'm not racking up miles fast. Or am I doing a lot of idle, or I think severe duty in my eyes would be if you're getting fuel from unknown sources and you're running all over the place, probably wouldn't hurt to drop it down a little bit. That way you're draining your water separator more and changing your filters. So we're gonna add 15,000, so that would be 572. Kind of chicken scratch, but there it says fuel. Again, some people don't like them in the window. I like them there because even my wife, and I'm not, nothing against my wife, I'm not saying she forgets a lot of stuff or she neglects things, but I put them in all my cars, and she's gotten to where she tells me when things need oil changes, and then she'll start getting after me, and I like that. Knock on wood, I've never had engines fail on me, but I also maintain them, so makes a big difference. Okay, we're on this trip I was talking about. We're heading along. I'm probably about an hour into it so far. It's only about a 2.5 hour trip, and I'm showing about an hour and a half to the destination, where I am picking up a vehicle of another YouTuber. And he's got some stuff on it that needs fixed, and I offered to do it. So we made a deal to do it, and yeah, it's a job kind of right up my alley. You guys will see. but it's been raining the whole time. I was gonna pick up the camera right whenever I started, but it is nasty and it's pouring whenever I first started. Okay, finally made it to Walmart here. Got the Edge on the trailer, got Evans here with Country View Acres. Let's get him in frame here.
Hey everybody.
I reached out to Evan about fixing his Edge because it's got a noise in the rear end, he says, after it's been driven for about 20 minutes or so. And when we were just driving it, you could feel it almost felt like the torque converter kind of engaging and disengaging, or maybe it was trying to shift. Something's going on there that I think is probably going to give us a good sign of what's going on. But he's given me the opportunity to help him out and fix this, and it's right up my alley.
I think it's the other way around. See, he's given me the opportunity to fix it for me and help me out. I think I'm the one benefiting from this.
I think we're both benefiting because I just like to fix stuff too. So it's I think it's going to be a fun process. I'm going to make a video on it, obviously, and hopefully you guys go check out Country View Acres. I'll put a link in the description. It's one of my favorite channels to watch. I can binge his stuff forever, and sadly I've binged enough of it now that I don't even have any videos to watch, and hopefully you guys do the same.
Well, I appreciate it, Chris, but thank you very much for taking the video.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it.
No problem. This is what I do. I'm crazy. I guess I just love doing that. So, or love working on cars and fixing stuff. So
yeah, I'm not a motorhead, so I'll let you do the work.
I'm sadly, it's not only my job, but it's kind of my passion, and so I don't ever get away from it. But
makes it a good job.
It does make a good job some days.
Yeah.
Okay, finally got out on the road far enough. I feel like I spent a ton of time in construction. There's construction happening everywhere. I'm sure you guys are experiencing that too. It is summertime. It seems like that's, well, anyway. Pickup went great. Looking forward to working on his Edge. It's not a common issue that I can tell. You know, the concern is, or the symptoms or what he's explaining are like definite. I almost guarantee I know what the problem is. It's not that, and so I'm pretty excited to try to figure out what is wrong with it. So been driving for a while, and these are what my temps look like, if you can see them. Boy, that looks dark. Running about 70 miles down the road, 70 miles an hour. Trans temp is sitting at 169. Considering unloaded, I think I saw it was hovering in the 150s. On that, oil temp was lower. I think I said at one point the highest oil temp I saw was 210. So, and that was in an area where I was going low speed up and down because construction, up and down hills. So, no, not bad. Can't complain. I've stopped and got a little more fuel. Fired right back up. I'm not going to say it, but yeah. You know, I'll look at you like this, but I don't want to say how it's going because we know how that works out. We'd make great content, but I don't feel like working on anything on the side of the road. Okay, finally just made it home. Went smooth. I can't complain one bit about that trip. The coolant temps, if you're into nerdy data, I just constantly watch my monitor for engine oil temp and engine coolant temp. So earlier in the day it was raining quite a bit and the temperatures were in like the 70s, and so it kept my oil and coolant temp pretty low, actually surprisingly low. On the way home there was no rain, humidity is pretty high, and truck's saying 86 outside. Intake air temp on the monitor was showing 96 to 102 at times, and cruising down the highway I would usually run about 207 oil temp and in the 200 range on coolant. So I mean, I'm not pulling a ton of weight, so if I was pulling a lot more weight, I could understand where guys were seeing high oil temperatures, and that could be concerning. And you think over 200 is bad, but you know, in the 220s is still, oil temp's still pretty safe. But I would like to look into some cooling, bulletproof offers, some oil cooler options, and they're very busy, and I don't like busy stuff in the engine bay. Engine bays can be cluttered as it is, and adding more clutter on top of that sometimes stresses me out. But anyway, I'm gonna end it off here. Hey, I appreciate everybody for watching. I'm excited to help Evan out, get his edge all fixed up. That is, I reached out to him a few weeks ago, and we were emailing back and forth, and ended up making setting the date to do this. I'm just super excited again, and I appreciate him for letting me have the opportunity to help him out, and we can make some videos together and just work together. I just think that's awesome. So I appreciate everybody for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.